Welcome to Remnant 101 at the City on a Hill Church. I'm Associate Pastor Benji Lalayan. God's remnant knows that nothing that we do on earth will matter in heaven except for separation. Now we're going to read a couple of verses. First, we're in Matthew chapter 6, verses 19 through 21. It says, "Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." And then one more, 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 18. It says, "While we do not look at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporary, but the things which are not seen are eternal." Now, this is where we get into why we use the word separate to describe the word holy. Again, always looking through the lens of without holiness, no man will see the Lord. From Hebrews, of course. Now, going back to Bible times, every time that God's people heard the word holy, they immediately thought of consecration, making sure that they were different from everyone else. And that word made them know that they were doing it for God and for God alone. And every time that they lost favor with God and fell backward was when they mixed up with other people and other things. Their appetites got the better of them. And of course, I'm not just talking about food appetites, but I'm not going to get into that right now. This is where the lesson Jesus was teaching about laying up your treasures in heaven comes into play. This is a lesson about what your heart cares about and what you are pressing after. And don't gloss over where it said, "Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." You have to understand that Jesus is basically saying, nothing on earth matters. Just do what you have to do to get to heaven. Make that what your life is all about. Which, of course, means you have to combine that with everything Jesus teaches about separating, cutting things off, taking up your cross daily in order to be worthy of Him. And Paul was basically saying the same thing when he said not to look at things that are seen, but to look at what is not seen. He's saying nothing on earth matters. Do what you have to do to get to eternity in heaven. And then he too preaches separation and cutting things off over and over again. "Be holy, for I am holy," as the Bible says. Holiness is separation. All of these pieces of the puzzle should look obvious when you put them together. Now, this is why the Molokans in Armenia separated the way that they did. They understood the principle of nothing on earth mattering in heaven, only separation. So they applied the principle of separation to everything that they did. They did everything, even the little things like what they ate and what they wore, differently from everyone else. Again, as we keep saying, they did this to the point of being persecuted and exiled until they were the only ones to believe a prophet of God and escape a horrific genocide that killed over 1 million people. And on top of that, when they settled in California, even after having to start all over, they prospered. Now, why is that important to this principle? Because it shows that God not only looks for separate people to be a part of His remnant, He takes care of those people as well. And who can sustain and take care of us better than God? Certainly not ourselves. When you put it in this perspective, it should make it look obvious why it's more beneficial than anything to count everything on earth that we can have or that we can do as loss. Because not only does that put us into the position of pleasing God, but we have now also put ourselves in the position of putting our faith and trust in the only source that is reliable 100% of the time. That's why we say that God has never failed us. God is looking for a people who are so separate that their only testimony is trusting and pleasing God. That's His remnant. That's who we are, and I pray you include yourself in this. That's who we continue to strive to be more and more every day by constantly working for separation. God bless you.